Okay, so we're going to jump into the B101 to start with, and we're going to run through some very specific issues. And let's talk for a quick second about the graphics that we're showing here. So you can see there's a actual verbiage from the contract, but it has a bunch of crossed off stuff. What's going on with the cross off and with the blue?
Yeah, this is not that I submitted my red line version and it's a draft. What I did was I took the 2007 version and I compared it to the 2017. So what you're looking at here, other than the caption where it says that the title or the name of the slide itself, in the text itself, if the language is in blue, that is new text to the agreement. If the language has a strike through, that was in the 07 and has been eliminated from the new version. And then anything that's just straight black text, and it's consistent in both the 07 and the 17. So you can see what's new, and you can see what they felt was important to get rid of here.
And another just sort of quick background thing, it may sound a little strange, we keep talking about 07 and 17. For whatever reason, I don't know why they chose the 7s, but the AIA documents get renewed and sort of rewritten to some extent every 10 years on the 7.
Yeah, there's a suite of documents. There's about 30 documents that go every 10 years on the 7s. The first one I believe that they started was 57, then it went 67. Why they started doing that, these AIA forms have been around since the early 20s or teens, I'm not sure which, so they've been around for many, many years. But at some point in time they recognized we need to update them. They decided on 10 years, and there's two reasons. One, it's a lot of work to update these and get everybody on board. But more importantly, at least as far as my concern, and for the people that are out there practicing, it takes about 2 or 3 years for the contracts to burn in to be accepted by the community. And then it takes X number of years for those projects to be built, and then for problems to happen, and then the lawyers to step in, like me, to figure out what's wrong with the contract. And so we get about 10 years in, and they say, okay, here's the things that we've figured out is wrong with the last version.
So we can fix them. And,
right. Or the industry has changed, and we'll talk about some of those things. So it's not just because something's wrong with the document, sometimes they're recognizing changes in the industry.
Sure, technological, just industry changes in terms of the economics of things, how people deliver projects, changes over time. All sorts of things like that. So it sounds a little goofy when you say the 7s and the 17s, but there's actually a reasonable logic to it. There are other changes that happen at other points along the way. They'll do minor changes here and there for some documents, but the big ones are on the 7s.
Correct.
All right, so let's jump right in here. We have this first one, the elimination of exhibit for initial information. And we were talking about this a little bit before we started. Essentially, this comes about because in the 7s and the ones before it, nobody was really using it correctly.
Right. So this was an AIA recognizing a mechanical problem of how the contract was structured. Before, you had to fill out Exhibit A, the initial information, and that was a separate document, and you put in all these details, which included, the parties and the budget and the construction milestone dates, all the kind of gut pieces that you would have for the contract. But since nobody filled it out, the AIA recognized, hey, let's roll it into actually the document itself, so we don't have a problem later on when people are saying, I didn't know what this budget is, I didn't know the schedule, so it's been rolled in here. So what we have just on the slide here is the introductory paragraph. And then in the actual 1.1, there's a whole number of subsections that will cover all the information that was in the Exhibit A. So now it's actually all in one place.
So essentially, it was the idea was that you'd put all this information into an end exhibit, like an addenda essentially to the contract, and because it was a separate thing, it would get lost or nobody would do it or whatever. And now they just sort of folded it all directly into the contract itself.
And I can say, even on my end, sometimes as the lawyer working, I'll get the B101 out, and we'll talk with the client and say, we'll get the Exhibit A filled out. And then even when I'm working with them, we never fill it out. So it's not just that the people don't do it, sometimes even the lawyers don't do it. So this is much better.
So we can blame the lawyers for this, is what you're saying?
Yeah, we can do that. That's not a problem.
All right, I'm okay with that.